Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, good afternoon. Welcome to our show, Wellness Time. We are here again with a very special guest, and it will be my honor and it is my privilege to welcome him on our show. He is Colonel and Dr Rajeev Malhotra. He's a specialist in anesthesiology, and he's my professor, he's my guide, and he's my mentor. And Dr. Rajeev, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, Rani. That's quite an introduction. Firstly, I want to thank you and Mehfil and Wellness Time for this wonderful opportunity. And we're going to talk about inspiration, you told me today,
yes,
right?
Yes. Because when I met you, Dr. Rajeev, like the first thing that struck me is, oh, wow, what a man. I can't imagine how you would have served India in the army. So I decided you will be on the show, and like you inspired me and all your other students, I want you to inspire our viewers.
Thank you very much, Rani. That's quite a responsibility. You know, one of my friends, he's a businessman, and he told me that when I came to Canada, we all know what the struggle is, and he told me, you know, I asked him, I said, how are you so successful? He says, I'm a businessman. Opportunities are floating around all over, and all you got to do is go and grab them. And that struck in my mind, and I say the same about inspiration. Inspiration is everywhere. Everywhere we look around, from the day we are born, our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our fathers, our uncles, they're all our inspiration. Then our teachers.
You're absolutely right.
And at this point, I must say, as a teacher, while teachers are an inspiration, for me personally as a teacher, you students have also been an inspiration. And ever since I met you, you and other students like you, I find the way you struggled and the way you aspired, it really made me do better and better, so made me a better person too. I always say, inspire, aspire, perspire, and then you acquire success.
Wonderful. That's really wonderful the way you put it. Dr. Rajeev, now I'd like to know a little about your background. I'm sure our viewers are also wondering. So tell us a little bit about your university days and how you got into Army. What made you choose that in your life?
Great, but before I do that, I want to dedicate this show to all the wonderful ladies, or the wonderful women of the world who are mothers, sisters, and wives, and to the fathers and the sons and brothers, and especially to my wife Madhu and my sons Paras and Arjun. They continue to inspire me even today.
Absolutely. And Mrs. Madhu Malhotra, if you're watching the show, you're very much a part of our show even though you're not here. And this show we dedicate it to you, because without you, Dr. Rajeev wouldn't have been here. And I'm sure you complement each other. So you are very much a part of the show, Mrs. Madhu.
And so are my sons Paras and
Yes.
Okay, you know, you asked me about my background. Actually, my father became a refugee with all those partitions and all that stuff. And I was a very weak child, and I almost died. And but
really?
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
And one of my neighbors, my father's neighbors, actually, he took me up and treated me, and I became all right. And but when I entered college, I was such a weak fellow. And you know, in the medical colleges, there's a lot of ragging. And so one of the Mr. College bodybuilders, he was a huge guy with a head the size of a ghada. You know, here they are. I can imagine what the rest of him was. He saw me and actually took pity on me. And I used to admire him. I said, boss, how, we used to call him boss. I said, boss, how come you're so healthy? And he says, in his gruff voice, all right, Malhotra, what you need is a little exercise. I'm going to give you that. So he took me under his wing, and he made me run up a temple steps, which are 200 steps. He used to do this 10 times every day. I could barely go about 20 steps, and then I was huffing and puffing. So he told me, okay, now you're going to do push-ups. And I was such a weak child. I went down once, I couldn't come up. He caught me by the skin of my back,
oh my
pulled
God.
me up. And he was such an inspiration that by the time I left college, I was the top runner of the college.
Excellent.
And I was an 800-meter champ, 1500-meter champ. And that helped me in the army too. I was the best runner in the army too.
Wow.
So that as an inspiration. My sister, my elder sister, she inspired me into learning English language, which I'm very proficient in today. My parents, my father was a refugee, never cried. He was an inspiration. And then when I became a doctor, I remember the doctor who had saved my life, he was an inspiration. And that's why we need to look for inspiration everywhere. It's the common man, the common person who gives us inspiration.
Yes, it's all around us.
All around us.
Yes.
We only have to grab it. And you're one of my inspirations too.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Dr. Rajeev, now tell us what got you into into becoming a specialist in anesthesiology. Because I know in India, it's the anesthesiologist who handles everything during the operation, isn't it? Am I
Yes,
right?
it is. It's quite. We work as a team everywhere. Everywhere we must work as a team.
Yes.
Yes, I became an anesthesiologist because when I was, like I told you, as a child, I was always weak and always had a lot of pains, and I saw people who relieved pain. So anesthesiologist is basically a pain doctor.
Okay.
So actually, I was just 5 years old, like I told you, when my doctor first treated me, my neighbor's father's neighbor, and from there, I decided if I can help it, no man or woman or child will suffer from pain. So that's how I became an anesthesiologist.
Incredible, Dr. Rajeev.
So these are inspirations, ordinary inspirations. That's how we did it.
I'm sure you must have done so many cases in your life. Hundreds, thousands, if I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah, in my first year itself, I had done 3,000 epidurals.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So, is there any incident that you recollect?
Yeah, glad you asked me because I do remember one incident, a very dynamic captain in the army, and I was a new anesthesiologist and I was called in the emergency. That a captain who's a very dynamic guy, he's got injured while skydiving. When I reached the operation theater, his wife, another dynamic lady, a PhD herself, and I found these guys, this guy had practically broken every bone in his body.
You mean he slipped when he was skydiving?
While skydiving, he fell for about 100 feet or so.
Oh my God.
And the surgeon said, it's very dangerous, he may not live. And both his legs were fractured.
Oh goodness Lord.
Anyway, we were lucky, the team was good, and the surgeon was good, and I must say I was pretty good too. Okay.
I'm sure.
Okay. And we did a series of operations on him over a period of months, and unfortunately one of his legs developed gangrene.
Oh my.
And before operation you have to take informed consent. I walked up to him with great trepidation, and in Punjabi कहते हैं उन्होंने कितना दसा कि तेरी टांग कट लग गया. Then his wife was very brave sitting there, and I went to him and I told him, Captain what, I'm not naming him, I said Captain so and so, we got to amputate your leg unfortunately. And you know, this guy, I could never forget his inspiration. You know what he told me? He says, sir, I was a major that time, so he says, sir, I have taken 25 years of life out of this 5 years of my career. Oh well, it served its purpose, you can take it off.
Oh my goodness.
And
just like that? He
just like
said
that. And I was so surprised and inspired, and I said, what a brave man. Well, things as to cut the story short, he got well, went off, got discharged. A few months later, I read in the newspapers, there's an Indian soldier, army officer, who's going around the globe on one leg. He's sailing around the world.
And
now these are the
same
people
person.
Same person, and when I looked at his name, it was the same captain. I saw his picture, and I was really, really inspired. These people. Now I've been teaching here in Canada for so many years, and we are lucky in Canada to have a multicultural society. So you were there before. Many students from all over the world. I found the resilience, the way they work, the way they overcome the struggles. That itself is an inspiration. And while I inspire them, I also feel inspired by them. They're ordinary people. Nobody will give them a medal. Nobody's going to think about them. And I don't know if you know, but today morning in Finland Games, a girl from the back of beyond in India, Hima Das, has won the gold medal in athletics in 400 meters, I think. The first ever Indian to achieve that honor. And do you know that she has lived, she comes from a very poor family, and her family has been surviving on just rice and lentils.
Wow. So it is like never say never.
Never say never. And these are the ordinary people themselves. Everywhere you have inspiration. All you've got to do is look, find it, and take it.
Take it. So is there any advice, any tip that you would like to give our viewers?
I'm in no position to advise viewers, but they're also wise. But I would say, yes, inspire your children, give them love. Children require three things, I always say: love, love, and love. Give them that, inspire them, they will aspire, they will perspire, support them, be there, and they will acquire success, they will achieve.
So, if I'm not mistaken, that is the reason which made you take the step of coming to Canada, isn't it?
Yes, and I think anyone who immigrates to another country, as it is, he's a very inspired person. He wants to do something better. He's inspired to do something better, no matter what reason he has behind it. And we see all around us, people from all over the world have made a success of themselves over here.
Yes.
And we are a wonderful, very, very fortunate country to have such wonderful people around us.
I mean, you said that very, very correctly. We are very fortunate to be here. Canada gives us so many opportunities. Yes, we have to work hard.
Yes.
That is the bottom line.
But it is, as teachers, as mothers, as fathers, and brothers, sisters, it is a duty to inspire.
That's so correct.
We have to inspire.
Yes. And never say never. Every new day you have yourself to prove to yourself, yes, I can do it. Age is not the limit. There is no limits. The limit only is in our minds.
Yeah, that's what in the backdrop it says.
Yeah.
That's why we chose that picture. And it's a girl, and imagine, girls can do as much as anybody. So nobody, no person is any way inferior to any other person. If he wants to, he aspires, and we give them inspiration, they are sure to do well.
It's wonderful, Dr. Rajeev, to hear you say this, and I'm sure our viewers too are touched by what you say and the way you think. And I just wish we have more of your kind.
Very fortunate people, and we should inspire the next generation.
So tell me now, when did you decide to come to Canada?
I decided I'm basically an adventurous guy, being a Fauji or an army person, and I had done everything. I had become an associate professor. I was teaching in a very beautiful medical institute. I was a colonel. I was respected. I was everything. I decided I must have some adventure. And that's why I came to Canada.
So viewers, you want adventure? Come to Canada. You can tell your friends and your relatives back home.
Yes, it's going to be tough, but yes, you are tougher. Yes. Men, I always say human beings have that indomitable spirit. Bring that out. Bring that out.
But when I see you, Dr. Rajeev, like I know the background because I come from a family of doctors, and how hard it is here in Canada. Like you are a very popular, famous, renowned anesthesiologist in India. So when you came here, what was your struggle? Did you continue your line, or how did you take it?
It is quite difficult to continue one's line, and age was at a disadvantage for me. However, I do feel that if one does put in an effort, there's no reason why you can't get it. People have got it, people have made a success story, so there's no reason to be despondent or give up hope. You know, when for 3 years I didn't get a job here.
Which year was that, Dr. Rajeev?
From 2002 onwards, and I still don't have a regular job. But I was very despondent. I was feeling a little low. I won't say despondent. I never give up hope. And I was very low. And I'm not a religious fellow, but there was a church nearby. I just entered there. And I saw a picture of Christ carrying the cross. And it stuck in my mind suddenly. If such a great soul had to carry his own cross, We are mere mortals and we don't have that cross to carry. Let's go on. And from that day onwards till today, I don't think I'm going to give up hope ever. And I ask all my viewers, never ever give up hope.
That's commendable. So that's what even I think, I believe that every time a tragedy or a challenge strikes us, universe sends us angels. Like for me, when I didn't know which path to take, universe sent me you. And
I think adversity,
you paid the path to me.
That's very kind of you to say, but I think adversity makes us stronger. And your own life, Rani, I know you for about 7 years now, I think, and I've seen you do so well. And when I first met you, I knew you had the potential.
Thank you so
much. It was the teacher in me which decided this girl has to go places. And that's why we met at the right time, circumstances met, and I tried to inspire you. You got inspired, and I must say you did very well in your course.
Thanks to you, thanks to the college, Academy of Learning. But yes, I passed in honors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I think that should be...
Yeah, and anything else you would like to convey to the viewers, to your family here?
Just stay close. Family is very important, and just stay within the confines of the law. Do anything, you will succeed. We are in a wonderful country. We have all the resources. It's only for us to go and grab them.
I just can't help asking you this, so I have to ask you this, Dr. Rajeev. I'm very, very curious about your army days, because I've always been fascinated by army people, the kind of life you are leading. Yes. So how did you balance your family life and your army life? How did your wife, because I know, being an army officer's wife, I've seen, I don't know it, but I have seen how difficult it is. So what is the role?
You know, thanks. You asked that question actually. At the beginning of the show I had said, this show is dedicated to all the wonderful women in the world, and the mothers, the sisters. There have been times, I'm from a 100% army family, and there have been times when every male member was on the battlefront, and these ladies, the credit goes to ladies. Yes. They did all this. They did. They have the strength, and as we say in India, woman is Shakti, right?
Yes.
So this show is dedicated to you all.
The inner strength of a woman.
Inner strength of a woman, the outer strength of a woman. Today Hima Das has proved it. She's won a gold coming from a poor family, eating rice and lentils out of a bowl, an earthen bowl. It hasn't hit me really well as yet. I don't know how she did it. It was insurmountable. Coming from India, I know how insurmountable the challenges must have been. There she is.
Yeah, I can feel your emotions.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the viewers are also...
Yeah, that's a very proud moment, and very proud. I feel very proud when I see students like you and others doing so well. It is the inner strength in you. I only inspired, the rest you did.
You were the angel sent to all of us at the right time.
That's very kind of you to say that.
So is there any incident, Dr. Rajeev, about your army life that you remember distinctly?
It's actually a lot of, it is confidential.
I'm sure you have a lot of stories to say.
The stories are endless. And the thing was never to give up hope. There was a person who was injured with a jaw broken, and we were little about 4 hours away from the nearest hospital.
Where were you? Which location?
It was, can't tell you the location, it was very bad situation, and there was hypoxia, less of oxygen everywhere. For 4 hours, me and my assistant, we held his jaw. We had nothing else.
My goodness.
4 hours till we reached the hospital, we saved the person. We had to. We never give up. We never give up. The thing to remember is no matter how insurmountable the odds, not to give up. You have that power in you.
And how many years ago was this?
This was, I'm talking about in the 80s, late 80s.
Wow. And you still remember it very clearly?
Oh, yes.
I'm sure there are many incidents like that.
Oh, yes, we can go endlessly, but the time won't permit us.
Have you even thought of writing a book?
Oh, well, now you told me, I might think of that.
You should. You should. because these memories are priceless.
Priceless, yeah.
And people need to know about it.
And there are so many great men and women, ordinary people on the street. That is my inspiration. It always remains. I see them and I'm so inspired. Oh my God, this guy is doing so much in spite of not having anything. That is inspiration for me.
I'm sure as a soldier you're strong, you're brave, your never to die attitude, all that is there. But I'm sure your wife contributed a lot.
Oh yes.
So tell us more about her.
I tell you, when I was doing my post-graduation in the army, we moved so rapidly.
Where did you meet her?
Oh well, now you first, I think we don't want that. But yes, I was lucky to meet her, and I was doing post-graduation. We didn't get regular accommodation. We were staying in one room, and I had to study, I had to work, and in the army there's no such thing as pity. So the professor said, you got to be on time, you got to prepare a lecture. She used to stand out till the middle of the night till I was studying with the child.
Wow.
Because we had only one room, she was standing outside doing all that.
So no mercy at all?
No mercy, but she did it, she supported me, and in Canada I have survived only due to her and my sons, and I give full credit to them.
How did they support you?
She took up the first job available, and I must say in Canada women get jobs faster than men do. So she got a job, she said, no, we're going to make it, and we are still here 15 years down the line.
Wow. So your sons, you have two sons, right?
I have two sons, very inspiring. My elder son did his law. I don't know where he got the money from, I didn't have the money. I don't know how he did it. He did very well. He's done it law from UBC. My younger son, he worked in God knows flipping burgers, wow. But they all did it. And today he's a very successful realtor. He got 3 promotions here. He was transferred to US. So these boys of mine have been my inspiration too.
That's excellent. Hats off to you guys.
Thank you.
And what are your plans for now, Dr. Rajeev?
Well, keep on going. Keep on going to the next. Punjabi कहते हैं हुनगड़ा पड़ाव आऊगा. We'll go there. The next step. We'll go to the next step.
Any specific plans?
Oh, we can't.
How to?
Just keep working. Get inspired. Do it. There's nothing impossible. People have. So many people like you have made my life so beautiful. There are people all around. Ordinary people, you don't have to go to any big man or big woman to get inspired. People all around us are their inspiration.
Each and every person is special.
Each and every person is special, yes.
That's what I tell you viewers. Nobody is small, nobody is big,
yes.
Nobody is right, nobody is wrong. We are all there to lend a hand to each other, and that is what we are here for. That is what Wellness Time is here for.
Yeah. Stay well, do well, and never ever give up hope.
And that's the motto of Dr. Rajeev Malhotra here.
Thank you very much.
So your plans, like, do you plan to continue teaching?
Yes, as far as possible, because teaching, I feel very good inspiring students. In the last few batches, there was a student of mine who didn't have enough money to even have 2 meals a day. And I dare say I was a good cook, and without making her feel small, I used to say, hey, share my Indian meal. She was reluctant because of her pride, but then I told her, brought around her, she studied, she got honors, and she's working at a big hospital in a big way. She's done very well for herself.
And viewers, I must tell you something about Dr. Rajeev. In the college that he works, he offers his food to everybody. He always sees that he helps everyone. He goes out of the way, either by giving them food or giving them advice or being just a friend. He's always there for each and every one in his college and each and every one that he meets in his life. That is what I have observed.
I think the food belongs to them, because in Punjabi we say band kha khand kha. That means if you divide and eat, you're eating something sweet.
Yes.
Right. So.
That's what I always say, like when you share, it becomes priceless.
Yes. And I can't thank you and the staff of AOL, including our director Sunita ji, and you make such wonderful food. We had such fun. We got inspired. Learning should be fun, and yes, we did that. And you inspired me, I inspired you.
You're absolutely right, Dr. Rajeev. So, this is where we have to wrap up now. Unfortunately, we cannot continue. The time is up. So, I would like to thank Dr. Rajeev Malhotra once again for being on this show, Wellness Time. And we at Mehfil wish you the very, very best to you and your family, Dr. Rajeev.
Thank you very much to Mehfil, to Wellness Time. Thank you, and God bless you. And keep the hope up. Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. And see you next week, same time.